All right, back at Old 50 for round number 9. And as you can see, I'm trying to keep Tony here honest. I don't really have a reason to, but just trying to keep up with him for a while. And I do that for a little while here. Follow him up around the pro hill, and then I think he makes it around a guy here, and that guy holds me up here a little bit. But conditions here are really good, just a little bit dusty down here, but up in the woods it was super good. Tons of traction. I actually had, at times, I had too much traction because I just put new tires on, and the dirt was so good that there were a couple of times where my bike hooked up more than I wanted it to, and you know, you kind of front end kind of comes up and pulls you out of the line or wherever you want. But hard to complain when traction's as good as it was today. So heading up the hill here, and again just kind of following Tony for a while. I had the whole shot around the first turn there, and then I kind of went a little bit wide, and Tony snuck in on me. There again, just kind of chasing him for a while. Don't hear anybody right on me at this point, but I'm sure there's some people pretty close. So we're coming down to the pro hill here. You can go left and go up the pro hill, or go right. And so we can both take the pro hill this time. Probably should have downshifted right there, but just kind of looking it up there and get to the top here, and then we join up with the regular track, then right back down the hill. It's pretty hot today. I think it was 87. Humidity was fairly high, so it was a pretty challenging race as far as the heat goes. So Tony and I are catching up to a few people right away. This is a pretty fast section of the track here. Luckily, that guy gives me a path by. If you remember my footage from earlier this season, I get down to the end of this straight here and catch a rut. I think that was this season. Catch a rut and go down, but give this guy a little warning here that I'm sneaking by, and then gonna keep chasing Tony again. Tried to maintain a really fast pace, as fast as I could kind of comfortably go the whole time today. It's kind of come back to bite me a couple of times when I haven't really pushed hard the whole race. This is a pretty tight little section coming up through here. Just kind of weaseling your way through all these trees. Catch a break there. That guy didn't pull out. So I think at this point Tony is kind of pulled away a little bit now. I think he's down at the bottom of the hill there. Most of this track was all stuff we've ridden before. I guess this is kind of the forward direction. Catch a pretty nasty bump right there. Tried to avoid it for the rest of the race. There was a few of those in the track to be had. So here again, catching up to a few guys really quick, and looks like those guys kind of held Tony up a little bit. thinking I could sneak by on this uphill, but just not quite the room. And then I get a fairly easy pass right here.
You all right?
Although I just about collected a bike. Thought I could stay up on the track, but that didn't happen. I thought it was safer just to jump off the track. And at this point, Tony's pretty much gone now. So I'm just gonna kind of ride my own race and just keep pushing. Kind of a weird line there, but a lot of roots and stuff kind of hidden under the dead leaves here. So we're headed into the dreaded creek. If you guys remember my footage of the last race, it started with me bogged in the middle of this creek in a mud hole and literally just covered in mud. So I was hoping that the creek held up, and it held up pretty good. At least the bottom pretty much stayed there. So you could pretty much always get through it. Toward the end of the race, you kind of dreaded the creek because some of the stuff you had to kind of paddle your way through, and when you've been riding for about an hour and a half, it tires you out getting through something like that. This was a new section they did last race, so we're hitting it again. Fun little section here down along this little stream, and then kind of head up the hill. Like you can see, dirt was pretty much perfect. Later in the race, there was a little bit of dust, but it really wasn't bad at all. So I ended up second place this race. The guy in first, I don't know if he's ridden with us ever. A guy named Mark LaBelle, and he placed first in the Masters class. And he was rolling along pretty good. He beat me by quite a few minutes. I think like maybe 5 minutes. So in an hour and a half race, he had a pretty good pace going. So I think he passes me on like the second lap. I think I figured out who he was because I didn't think anybody in my row had passed me, but after I kind of put two and two together, I figured out who he was. So he was riding really well. So he got first, I got second, Chris got third, and Big Dave got fourth. Coming up to a pretty fast little section here. This long uphill is really fast, and then you can kind of run along the top of the hill and kind of head back down. All this is pretty quick. Once you get up past this section right here, it really opens up. Looks like that's a 3 mile marker right there. Come along the hill here for a little bit and then drop back down on the left. Well, the only thing you had to watch out for today in this race was there was a few roots that were hidden either right under the top of the dirt or under some leaves that if you didn't see them, right away, man, there was a few nasty ones. There's probably about 2 or 3 times I came close to going down. Down into the valley here. We're gonna run along the valley a little bit, go back down here, and then kind of head back up the other side. Dirt here is just awesome. So we're at round 9, so season's coming to a close here, unfortunately. I missed 2 of the races because they had to be moved to Saturday or Sundays, so for me it's only been an 8-round series instead of 10 rounds. So I still might try to hit maybe a Crossroads race, or maybe even a GNCC or 2 before the end of the year. It just kind of depends. All this is familiar. We ran all this before. Pro line's going to be coming up here in a little bit, and I didn't really see it the first lap here, but I do recall seeing kind of the white sign right there, and I wasn't really sure what that guy was pointing to at first. And I think on this, either the second or third lap, I finally seen the entrance to it and started taking it, and I took that the rest of the race. Probably saved you a few seconds for sure. So some of this through here, we're kind of crossing over a few old trails and kind of dropping down onto a section that we've ridden before. And I think this is that little transition right there seems like that's a little bit different than what we've done before. This is such a great piece of property to ride on. Creek crossing right there doesn't look too technical, but something about the way them logs are laying in there, you just really kind of kicked your front end around when you were trying to go over that. Back up and over again. I'm gonna turn to the right here. Looks like we're catching up with some more people. I think there's 3 or 4 guys up here, and I followed them for a pretty long time actually, trying to get by all of them. Kind of heading back up toward the main part of the property here. I think we ran this last time, that all this off camber up here. Got to kind of be a little bit careful on, because you can move pretty quick through here, but it's all so off camber and hard that the new tires definitely helped today. That was for sure on this kind of stuff. So Zach didn't run a GoPro, and he didn't have a great start again. We rebuilt his bike, and we put reshimmed it, so we got the valves right. Everything is right. I'm not real sure what's going on with why it's not starting. It started great when they did the pro announcement, and then of course at the start it didn't start. So. And that vine about took my head off. I mean, literally. I don't know how it caught in my helmet, but man, it snapped my head back. But anyway, so we gotta get Zach's bike figured out. That's just crazy. Zach had to pass the entire vet and expert row. Then he passed all the pros, of course, other than Levi. So he came in second even after that horrible start. So I get a pass here. Make a push through here, this line, and get one of these guys. And I think I get this next guy up. I get him about 2 or 3 miles later on. I finally get away by him when there's a guy stuck in the trail, and we both take different lines, and I get around him. We're coming up to the end of the first lap here, and if you guys were here, you know it was a pretty good race, pretty good dirt, and one more to go. Sounds like it might be at Psycho. I kind of hope not, but it sounds like it might be. So see y'all there.